Hi, Jen here from Jen Michelle Coaching, and today I want to talk about how to know if he's falling out of love and what you can do about it. For those of you new to my channel, I would love to invite you to subscribe. I release a new video Sundays of each week. So this is a painful topic and one that induces all kinds of emotions, probably a high level of anxiety, stress, pain. I know for me, when I felt like this in my life, anxiety and fear were the predominant emotions that took over. So if you're in this situation now, I want to talk a little bit deeper about, just recognizing it, of course, and then what you can actually do to turn things around. So when a man isn't in love, of course, more space is being requested. He's more irritable, picking fights, not initiating pretty much anything from sex to dates to doing those little things to make you feel seen, heard, cherished, and loved. All of that just kind of goes out the window, and it just feels like everything's fallen flat. And this is extremely anxiety inducing for most women. And so I want to talk about some ways in which you can address it if you feel either that a man has abruptly pulled away, or if you're feeling that slow drop off and that slow build of emotions on your end as a result of these little subtle shifts versus really bold shifts that you saw quickly that seemed to hit out of the blue. Number one, of course, the first thing that we typically want to do when we notice is we want to go into overdrive. The ego will start, really talking and bringing up a lot of different scenarios that we will have to filter and ideally get to a place where we can manage, those intense emotions so we're not taking action from them. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to really be mindful of what we're starting to react to within, because one of the biggest tendencies is we start to overfunction. We start to overdo everything. We start to want to prove our value and say, oh, but I'm not replaceable. Look at all these things that I can do and give and contribute to the relationship. And we start trying to earn love. And it's often very subconscious to women. And so if you notice that when a man has pulled away, or it seems like his emotional investment or his feelings have decreased, notice if you're starting to ramp up how hard you work in the relationship. And notice that every time you do this, a masculine energy man will pull away more and more and more. Because ultimately, you're devaluing yourself every single time you start trying to prove that you're good enough to a man. And so it's about really dethroning him from that pedestal, putting yourself back on where you are not over-functioning and trying to show a man in any way that you're worthy, because a high-value woman, she already knows that about herself. Her mantra is, I don't want to be with a man that doesn't want to be with me. And really letting that take the lead, being steady and being confident and sure in yourself, even when it's hard, even when you're starting to build this, but you're not reacting from that space of panic and trying to seek his approval in any way. Number two, take some time to reflect on what has changed in the relationship since you really felt him coming your way, since you felt all of those just warm, loving emotions moving towards you. What's shifted in the dynamics between the two of you since then? Have you moved closer to being more of yourself in the relationship, or have you lost yourself in the relationship? Have you sort of gone into his world and as a result of that lost that deeper connection within yourself? Because it can be really helpful to notice, are you the same woman that he fell in love with in the first place? Are you still, really living your life on your terms and doing all of those interesting, fun, and joyful things that you did when you first met him? Or over time, have you lost the connection to those things, and as a result, sort of had this imbalance created where you're living in his world without being anchored into who you are and what lights you up, and still being a woman that at the end of the day is really in love with the life she's created and is now sharing that with someone versus giving all of that up little by little over time, until you may not even recognize this version of yourself because it just was slow and done unconsciously. And so it can be really helpful to notice the qualities that you may have lost track of that existed in the beginning, so you can start to take steps to really reconnect to that woman that was high value and the woman that he was drawn to in the first place, really finding and reconnecting to that part of yourself. Number 3, reconnect or explore the connection that you hold within to your feminine energy and to your magnetic sensitivity, which is the most sensitive components of who you are. And essentially by this, what I mean is, let a man see you. But when we're in our feminine energy, we are allowing him to feel all of his emotions. We are not stepping in trying to manipulate them in any way to make a man love us or see who we are. We are giving that emotional space for him to form his own conclusions, trusting that we know that we're enough and that we don't have to push, nudge, remind, prompt, coax, any of those things to make a man love us or be attracted to us. And so when we reconnect to our feminine energy and to those sensitive components that we hold within, we're just accepting ourselves on an entirely new level, where a man is invited to see us because we are setting the energetic tone that this is who we are, that we know that we are worthy of love, we are worthy of a long-term, connected, passionate, intimate relationship, and we don't have to make anything happen. And so when we're operating from our feminine energy, we have that natural ease to us. And when we accept versus reject those sensitive components to our personality that maybe we're not so proud of, but we allow them to surface, like I'm scared, being able to own your emotions and say what you are feeling versus feeling like you have to hide them, yet not compromising your dignity and self-respect at the same time. So you're not pretending to be this really strong woman with this external shell, but you're building instead that strength on the inside so you can be more honest, be more authentic and real on the outside, because that foundation is there that you can handle anything that comes your way. And again, it goes back to that mantra suggestion that I gave earlier, that, yes, you want this relationship to work out, and of course you want this man to be in love and moving towards you. Yet at the end of the day, if he chooses otherwise, then you have that deeper acceptance that then you're not the man for me, because I know that I'm worthy of that. And so really starting to practice this mindset shift, because we mirror back what we believe we deserve. So as we move into reconnecting to the high value woman that we are, and we use this very deliberately and consciously to do so, we start to see what's possible on an entirely new level, either with this current man or with someone that may even be better for us. But we stay open to all of those possibilities. I hope this video is so helpful to you in your situation. I would love to hear how it lands for you. So leave me a comment below if there's a certain aspect of it that resonates. I love hearing from you guys. And go to my site, jenmichellecoaching.com, to check out all of my resources on this topic and others, as well as my digital programs and my upcoming next cohort of Attract Him Forever waitlist.